this is Kitty Popenhagen, and welcome. I am a close to my heart maker, and I do a Sketchy Thursday each Thursday night on my Kitty's Close to My Heart Facebook page. And you can find me there and join in. We just grab a paper packet that we have in our stash, something that maybe you have leftovers from or you bought and haven't done anything with. And then we grab a sketch. I post it on Mondays, and then we kind of prep for it. I usually do most of my cutting kind of during the week. And then on Thursday nights, we put it together. And I have a few ladies who join me, and they post their sketches or their completed projects once they've done it, and I post mine, and then it's just fun to see what everyone has come up with after using the same sketch. And so that's kind of fun, and it also helps to use up some of that paper that we've collected over the years. And so today I'm using, I believe this was called Zoe. It was a paper packet from 2015, and then Close to My Heart brought it back in 2019 and updated some of the colors and introduced a 12 by 12 sticker sheet, which was really fun. And I just loved the colors in it and the summertime, springtime feel of it. So I decided to use that. I had used some of the paper, but I still had that full sticker sheet, so I was excited to use that. So in going through my photos and trying to decide what I was going to use, I found these pictures of the kids and I and their grandmas when we went to a favorite ice cream custard shop near us that we've gone to for ages, and it's a favorite. And so I just thought I would use those photos. And so I was happy to get some of my own scrapbooking done and happy to use up some of the papers that I had. So some of those measurements, the green polka dot that I'm using is a 9 by 10 inch. And it's got a slight polka dot for the background, which is nice. And then on the other side, it's an 11 by 10 inch. And then that's kind of like a multicolored, almost a pinwheel effect, which I thought was really fun for a summer day of going to the ice cream shop. And that pattern paper there, and that is 8.5 by 8, and then on the other side, the longer sheet is a 5 by 12 inch piece of paper. And then the strip that I'm using across the layout on the left hand side, it ends up being let's see, what is it? It's 1.25 by 5, and then 5 by 10.25. That yellow piece there is. So again, I kind of love to go back to that sketch and kind of look and see how I might line things up. But again, it's up to you, and I adjusted some for sure, and made it work with my photos and what I was doing. So these two little pieces of smoothie cardstock, which is a retired color from Close to My Heart, I dovetailed. That's what it showed on the sketch, and I thought that was cute, so I went ahead and did that. I know this can be tricky for a lot of people, but I like to make that first cut right up the middle, trying to pick right the middle, and then angle it in from each corner to that middle spot that I cut. And usually I don't have too much trouble with that, but I know that can be tricky. And then just kind of playing around with the photos that I had. I did use my Epson PictureMate 400 to print out my photos, and I did back them. I wanted them on that yellow cardstock, but I didn't have quite enough of it. So a trick I learned in the Close to My Heart album retreat, which is I always think it sounds funny because you do it at home virtually, but it's a bundle of products that you purchase from Close to My Heart. There's just one recently, but I think it's done now, or it's sold out. And then they host something on Facebook where for 3 days, because you do like 20 some layouts, single page, so I think you end up with like 12 double page layouts, and so many tips and tricks that you learn along the way. It's just really fun, and you end up with these gorgeous pages. We do stenciling and die cutting and stuff that you don't normally do, so they are pretty intricate, but it's really fun, and you learn a lot of different tips and techniques as you go. So one of the tips that I learned was that where I took those two 4x6 photos and I backed them with part yellow and part of that smoothie on top. And so that worked perfectly for me because I didn't have quite enough paper of that yellow left over. But then I also just really liked the look of that, where that matting is two different colors. So I don't think I would have thought of that on my own. Maybe I would have someday, but I learned that from close to my heart, and that was I've used that a couple of different times in different occasions, and I really like it. And then yeah, I'm just following. I had to change up the way those were laying on there than the sketch because of how my photos were working. Because you kind of need an empty space in your photos when you overlap photos. And so I had to do it the opposite way, but that was okay. And then just trying to figure out my embellishments. That's always the hardest part, I think. It's the most fun, but it's also a little harder to decide what you're going to do and to make sure that that all looks nice at the end of the day. So I'm just measuring so I can tell you what I ended up with. On the sketches, it's always hard. A lot of sketches don't come with measurements, so you're left to kind of guess. And I've done other videos. I'll see if I can find the one and link it, where I use a little piece of paper to create my own ruler for really any size sketch. And it really does work pretty well. And that way I can kind of at least guesstimate how big I think different pieces of paper are on any particular sketch. Close to My Heart does sell, they call them Make It From Your Heart, and they are books that have all sorts of sketches in them, and they have all the measurements, which is really nice. And then it shows you like pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3, so you can choose your different paper collections, and but you have all the measurements. And then it'll show it two different ways. Like it'll show it with different paper. Sometimes it might flip it or turn it so that you can get some different ideas for the way it could turn out using the same sketch. So those books are available online. My website is kitty.closetomyheart.com if you want to check out those. Like I said, this paper collection is an older paper collection, so it's no longer available, but we have lots of pretty things, lots of stuff that's current that you could check out. And right here I'm adding some foam tape. We sell two different kinds of foam tape, a thin one, and then this one is a little thicker, so it pops up a little higher. And one of the things that we always talk about in scrapbooking, really any design, I know in gardening you have the rule of threes, and scrapbooking, I'm sure there's other design, creative things, probably in quilting or and watercoloring, that idea of threes. So you want your clusters, you want to bring colors. So if I bring the blue up in that top corner and the yellow, I'm going to want to bring that. That's why I put that flower up top, because I was trying to get that triangle. And this one I was struggling a little bit with really how to get that done well. I mean, I kind of think I figured it out, and hopefully it's fine. But because of that cluster in the middle there, that was making it a little bit more challenging. But so I try to get my embellishments in those rules of three, where you get the triangle and you want 3 spots. But I also do that when I pop stuff up, because I try to choose which items I'm going to use foam tape on or pop dots on. And then I try to also do that in 3 different areas, so that I don't just have one thing popped up off the page with dimension, but I have that scattered throughout my layout, if that makes sense. So I did the ice cream cone is popped up, the sun and the hearts are, and then I decided to take that green, you can hardly, well, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the green, I don't remember what it says. It says best day. And I ended up popping that up too, just to kind of keep that throughout my layout. I struggled with the title on this one. I tried it there. I ended up deciding to do the today down the side, and then it's today is a good day. I really hemmed and hawed about that. I cut out a lot of the video so you didn't have to watch me as I struggled. But I just really did. I fiddled with those words coming down the side so much. But in the end, I do like it. And I did end up using a white gel pen on some of those letters, and that's another technique I learned in an album retreat, and I've used it on multiple occasions, and I really do like using white gel pens. I've noticed they're kind of all the rage lately, that lots of people are using them, but they are really fun just to add a little bit of something to your lettering, or even to like the center of flowers. As just little highlights, and I will end up adding them to the hearts, to my ice cream cone, to the cloud. So they are a fun element. If you don't have a set of white gel pens, it's a great thing to have in your stash. And looking at this in hindsight, I wish I would have moved that little green best day over a little bit. I feel like it's too far to the left on top of that photo, but that's why sometimes it is good to walk away from a project. I don't know if you do that, but sometimes I get it to a certain point and then I just have to walk away for a little bit. And then when I come back, I see it with fresh eyes, and sometimes I pick up on something that I like better. That's something I sometimes have to do. I don't always feel like I'm a super quick creator. And I know when I do my Sketchy Thursdays, a lot of times I will get to a certain point and I'll lay out all my embellishments and my titling, and I'll say, okay, this is where I think I'm going to end up using these. And then I have to turn the camera off and I have to finish the embellishments, and then I post the pictures the next day, because sometimes I do make subtle changes because I just fuss with it too much. I don't know if you're like that, but so here's the white gel pen, and I'm just going along the edges of each of the colored letters in that word today, and it just kind of makes them pop off a little bit. They do, like that yellow D gets a little bit lost on the yellow background paper, but in the end I thought it was okay. And then I added a little bit of white gel. I did a line and then a couple of dots along the hearts and along the cloud, and then I end up doing it on the ice cream cone too. And that is really fun. It's a subtle technique, but I really like it. And the white gel pen, you can do like stitch marks along something. It's just, I'm really been into my white gel pens lately. And then I just grabbed a package of our clear sparkles. We have bitty sparkles and clear sparkle. They're both clear, but one of them is teeny tiny. These are the kind of regular size. They're small, but not teeny. And I'm just adding a few of them scattered throughout the layout, just to add a little bit of sparkle to the layout, and that's going to be about it. So thank you for watching. I'll add some still shots at the end, and yeah, come check us out on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time on Kitty's Close to My Heart scrapbooking page. And yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.